Each other's company. Oh, company.
Hi everyone, Emily here. Today I'm going to be bringing you a bridal makeup tutorial. It's going to be pretty heavily busy in the fall time here in Florida for weddings. So that's why I want to bring you guys a makeup tutorial if you are a bride that wants to do your own makeup on your wedding day. This is long wearing and it's pretty full coverage, so if you're into that, then just keep watching. And if you just want to know and learn some beat makeup, keep watching. But if you are a natural type of makeup wear, you may not like this video, but if you are curious on how to make it look natural, then keep on watching. So I'm going to break it down to you on the steps you need to take before doing your wedding day. If you are doing airbrush, which I am doing in this video, you need to moisturize your skin 2 hours before you apply the airbrush. The airbrush cannot lay on oily skin or oily residue, so make sure you blot right before you do your airbrush and all that good stuff. So make sure you wear a shirt, not like mine in the video. This is just a video, so I wasn't getting married. A button-down shirt is best, so you can just take it on and off once your makeup is done and your hair and all that good stuff. What else? Make sure your eyebrows are waxed at least 2 days before. Don't do it the day of because makeup will not stick to it. Let's move on. Now, this airbrush that I am using is from Camera Ready Cosmetics, cruelty-free. It's great. And the Boleto system that I got, I bought it like 3 years ago when I started doing airbrush. And it is a personal use. You can use it personally, but this is the one that I use for myself and my clients. Now, I like to test the airbrush onto my forehead first to see if it's a good match. And the one that I did first was a really good match, but it was really tanned. Remember, you're going to lighten your skin with concealer and you're going to darken it with contour. So be very cautious about that. Make sure your chest, your shoulders, your body, your face all match. So I'm applying the airbrush all over my face, my neck, and my chest with thin layers, you guys. Make sure the layer dries before you go back over the same spot again. Very important. If not, the airbrush will crack. Okay, and don't worry about going too heavy on the inside, especially under your eyes, because airbrush is not meant to be applied under the eyes. There are some companies that have airbrush concealers, but I just don't like that concept. I'd rather just use regular concealer and you will be fine. And as you can see here, I'm just waving it because you can let go of the nozzle and just air will spew out, and it helps me dry within layers. Again, if you are using a regular foundation for your wedding, do your eyes and your eyebrows first and then do your foundation so you don't have to worry about fallout. But with airbrush, it will get on a little bit on your eyebrows. You don't want to get that on your dark black lashes, and you know what I mean? So do the airbrush first and then do the eyes. That's the only thing. Now, I have oily eyelids and combination skin, and when I wear eyebrow products, they slip and slide sometimes. So for this, I took a little bit of alcohol on a Q-tip and just removed every single little oil trace that was left on my eyebrows so my gel product could really stick onto that. Now, if you're using a powder eyebrow product, go straight into it, because the sticky stuff, whether it's a little bit of oil or a little bit of residue from the foundation, is really good because it will have something to stick to. But for me, it's a gel. So if you're using pencil or gel, definitely try to remove as much oil as possible with a Q-tip. And for me, you don't have to, but I use alcohol. It really dries out that area. I don't do it every day, but only for occasions like this when you want it to last. And here I'm using the Anastasia pomade. I'm not going to list every single product. If you're curious about that, I will have a product list of all the cruelty-free products on my website, and I'll list that down below, okay? And after every layer of eyebrow pomade, I brush it through just to make sure I'm just building up as I go. Now, this is a cream eyeshadow, and you can normally go in with your eye primer and then just start doing your eyeshadow look. But for me, this adds beautiful, great depth and dimension onto the eyeshadow. Now, I have slight hooded eyes, you guys, so this is going to really help. This is the type of technique that's really good for hooded eyes and any other eye shape. So anybody could do this type of makeup look. Now for hooded eyes, as you can see here, you gotta make sure you bring the product above the crease. And then I'm blending it with a fluffy brush here. But make sure it is above the crease so when you open your eyes, you can still see the darkness on top of here. Again, it's a slight metallic finish. Well, actually it is a metallic finish, but it's fine because it's darker, so it gives dimension and smokiness with just one product. You could honestly just leave it just like this and you'll still have a beautiful eyeshadow look, and it'll look like you have a couple eyeshadows on because it has different light reflexes hitting it, as you can see here. You see here, I'm opening my eyes, making sure that the darkness is above my crease when I open up my eyes, right? Now, I'm taking that under the lash line. Again, this is kind of like my eye primer. So I am going to be using eyeshadows on top of this, which is just gonna make it look so much richer and beautiful. So again, applying that not too neatly because it's gonna be blended anyways, and because these cream eyeshadows that I'm using are really, really easily blendable. Elf. Now, again, blending it, blend after each layer. Once you apply your first layer, blend it out and then keep adding more because they set pretty fast, so you don't want to keep caking it on. And of course, same thing on the lower lash line. And one thing I wanted to add, you guys, is when you're doing airbrush, make sure you cover your hairline. You don't want to get that in the hair, okay? Now I'm taking some brown eyeshadow, a nice warm, rich brown eyeshadow, and I'm going to be applying that on the outer corners just to start the smoky process, like it's not smoky already, right? And as you can see, it added a little bit more depth. Now I'm taking a metallic eyeshadow from this palette here, and I'm applying that on the rest of my inner portion of my eye. I didn't like how this color came out. It dulled my eye makeup look. I wanted it to be more gold-ish. So I had to go back into a cream product and go on top of that. So I don't recommend that. Work with creams first and then work with your powders. But for the sake of the video and so you can see the look that I really wanted to achieve, I just did it anyways. And on top of that gold, I just went over with a slight gold pigment. It didn't have really metallic-y particles in it, but it did warm up my eyes again, so I was happy about that. Taking that middle shade with the blending brush, and I'm going above the darkness that I added just to soften the look and just to make it really smoky. Like, you know, have you seen J-Lo's makeup sometimes when she just has just bronze everywhere? That's kind of like what I wanted to do for this look. Just really blend it out with a nice soft brown bronzy eyeshadow. Now I'm taking that lighter eyeshadow shade, you know, bone colored, doesn't matter, and going right under the eyebrow with that. This is a beautiful technique to really arch those eyebrows and make your eyebrows look even better in pictures. Dusting off the fallout, if there was any. I didn't really catch much fallout from those eyeshadows. Now take your salmon colored concealer. It needs to be a salmon orangey color because it needs to cancel out the blues and the purples under your eyes. So this doesn't look like it's a salmon colored, but it is. And I also applied that on areas where I usually get dark, so like my mustache or upper lip area, I'm like mustache area, the sides of my mouth here get pretty dark, and I have jowls, like slight jowls, so I like to actually highlight the lines that create jowls for me so they go away, so it's more of a smoother canvas. And I added a couple layers of this salmon concealer to really correct under the eyes. Now you can stop here. As you can see, the skin is flawless and under the eyes is not dark at all. But this is part of the technique where it'll look good in photos. We're going to brighten under the eyes to really help make the eyes stand out and make them look darker. Remember, contrast. Light against dark would really make them pop. So I'm applying my Naked Concealer and I'm blending that out with a damp sponge. This is the Real Techniques one. And I'm damping that and I'm pressing that, making sure it's nice and blended on both sides, and then I'm baking for this makeup look, and I really highly recommend you to bake. If you have dry skin, you don't necessarily have to, but I'm telling you, weddings are weddings. You're gonna be dancing, you're gonna be kissing people, you're gonna be all over the place, so you really want that makeup to stay. So I really highly recommend baking with a sponge and just press it into the skin. Now I'm taking my contour powder. This is my own personal one, and it's a very subtle contour, which I like. You can go darker, all right? And it will show nicely in photos. But for the sake of just me having this one on hand, it'll just show you that you can do a subtle contour and still be defined naturally, okay? But remember, you can go darker. If you feel like you're too washed out, go darker with your contour and your bronzer. And I'm contouring my nose because that'll look really great in pictures. Once that flash hits, bam, like you have the flawless face, chiseled, snatched. Yes, I got that word right. Okay, now I'm using my NYC liquid liner. Do not recommend that because it is not waterproof, and if you cry, it'll go all over the place. So use a waterproof liner and mascara. Very, very important. Anything around the eyes need to be waterproof. So this is just an example, but line your eyes with a waterproof liner. Don't worry about it being so perfect. Just make sure it's your thickness, you know, preference. Mine, I like it pretty thin. I don't like to wing it out like that anymore. And I'm also tight lining on the upper waterline with a black pencil. The darker the better. It'll make your lashes look even thicker. Now with a brown pencil, I'm going to be taking that on the lower lash line. You could do this with black, but I'm just doing a slight subtle way that you could do it. So you can do this with black, you could even do this with purple, depending on the type of look that you're going with. And then I'm setting that with a dark brown eyeshadow to soften it and to just really set it. Remember, you set a cream with a powder to make it last longer. So cream, then powder. Now I wing it out on the outer edges with the same shadow, and I'm also softening that line. Again, remember I told you that it doesn't have to be 100% perfect? Well, you can fix that right here by softening it with some eyeshadow. Now, again, you can see here with that same dark brown eyeshadow, I am packing on that shadow on the outer corners. Don't worry about it being too perfect, just get it exactly where you want it to be, maybe even slightly smaller, because we're going to blend the edges and that's going to expand the eyeshadow. So just keep your eyes open while you're doing this so you can know exactly where it's going to be. And of course, blending that out. Only the edges though, don't go into the brown, just blend the edges so the intensity stays. Of course, adding your waterproof mascara. I wasn't using waterproof in the video, but waterproof always for a wedding. And of course, bring that on the lower lash line. I have a lot to say about this look because I do this for a living, you guys. Just to make my eyes open up more, make them look nice and fresh and still awake and not, you know, condensed with the dark eyeshadow colors, I'm putting a nude colored eye pencil in the waterline. You can switch that for black if you want a more smoky look. Remember, if your eyes are small, don't recommend that. But do what you want. If you want it darker, go with black. Now I'm applying this beautiful soft peach color on my cheeks. I recommend you to add a little bit more blush on the day of your wedding because blush tends to fade really easily throughout the day and you end up having nothing. So add a little bit more blush than you normally would so you can have a nice flush throughout the whole night. And going in with a highlight. This highlight is a frosty pink color and I like that because it gives it a nice like blush illuminated look, which is really pretty for brides. But again, you can use your goldy champagne highlight. It'll still look beautiful. Now I'm going in with the Kylie 22 lip liner and I'm lining my lips first with that. Just for definition, we're gonna do a nude lip, but just on the outer edges, I'm doing that. And now I'm going in with exposed liquid lipstick and applying that to the center, and I'm going to be blending it out with a pencil brush. Now, here's the thing. This is non-transferable. You can kiss your soon-to-be husband and it will not transfer, and it's very long-wearing too, even through meals, and it's very easily touch-up-able. So I definitely recommend liquid lipsticks. But if you do want a glossy finish, I would recommend for you to get a lip stain and then wait till it dries and then set it with a gloss. But I also offer touch-up kits for my brides, so if they do just want a regular lipstick, they don't really care much about it transferring, they just don't want the dryness of liquid lipsticks or lip stains, then I give them a touch-up kit. So make sure if your makeup artist doesn't have touch-up kits, then buy your lipstick for the day of. And now you can put on your dress, put on your jewelry, take your button-down shirt off, and you are good to go. I recommend doing your hair first before your makeup. That's usually that's the traditional, process. And that's pretty much the finished look. I really hope you guys liked it, and thank you so much for watching. Any questions, just comment down below. Bye.